From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on Lalate.
Thursday, March 4th, 2021. Wall Street is shocked as Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, minutes ago gave statements which sends the Treasury yields through the roof, causing the Dow Jones Industrials to slide 700 points in just 30 minutes. The Nasdaq is down 3.4%, and growth stocks are under pressure as well. Heavy losses across the board. Nasdaq down 300 points, Dow down 600 points. As the Senate pushes to get a $14 third stimulus check bill out as fast as possible into law, the question is how quickly. As now Jerome Powell says that inflation is on the horizon for the country, a statement that yields bad news for Treasury going through the roof, tough news for Wall Street, and confusing news for stimulus. You're going to get a $14 stimulus check, and what is going to happen next? And all the breaking developments on a big noontime recording of Lalate. Good morning, everyone. It's good noontime, everyone. It's a confusing day with news across the board. You see why we go live around the clock here on this channel, because of the confusing details about what's unfolding today for your stimulus. The breaking developments that happened shortly in just the last few minutes is shocking Wall Street. Let me go over what's happening. Thank you for joining me on Noontime at Lalate. You're getting a $1,400 third stimulus check. The vote on the Senate floor is happening later today and tomorrow. It's going to become a law. That's the great news. The developing details from Wall Street in the last few minutes has nothing to do with your third stimulus check. It has everything to do with your fourth stimulus package. What's happening? It's a little confusing, so let me slow it down for you. I've been telling you for a couple of weeks to watch the Treasury yields. The Treasury yields have been going slightly higher on the concern that as this country starts to reopen, there could be inflation. Jerome Powell, who's head of the Federal Reserve, guides monetary policy and has tried to stay away from the discussion of Treasury yields by basically avoiding the subject matter to keep the markets calm. When I was last live with you, no less than 30 seconds ago, 10 minutes ago, we knew the news was that the Treasury yields were soft today. They were calm, broad rallies across tech and reopening stocks. Everything was relatively calm but flat. Took a break to get ready for this recording after the one right before it, and bam, the numbers showed up. That's why you have to stay with me for the breaking developments. Dow is down 600 points. Nasdaq down 393. It was down as high as 710 points in the last few minutes. This is a substantial fall. Tesla stocks are down 6%. Apple is down 2%. More about that in a second. What happened? Federal Chair Jerome Powell spoke minutes ago. He's one of the biggest advocates for your third stimulus check. He said that the economic reopening of the country could, quote, create some upward pressure on prices, and that the central bank would be patient on changing policy just yet. This was a minor negative that he failed to provide the type of reassuring comments investors were hoping for, says Adam Grisafulli, founder of Vital Knowledge, in a note minutes ago. Powell was vague about what action specifically would be taken by the Fed on yields were to rise with economic levels. This volatility did not sit well We're back to good news for the economy and bad news for the markets, says Chris Zaccaselli, Chief Investment Officer, Independent Advisor, where we don't know where things are going. Keith Lerner, our macro team sees it spring-loaded, but with lack of clarity. A lot of confusing detail. Let me come back to you and explain what's going on. The Senate today and tomorrow will pass your $1,400 third stimulus check. This is great news. That's done. What's happening today? Republicans, namely Ron Johnson, are pulling a series of antics to delay the vote for a couple hours, not a couple days, a couple hours. So the bill will be called for a vote later today and tomorrow. It'll pass the Senate, go back to the House, pass the House, then to the President's table as early as the end of tomorrow. Becomes law. Got it? Pretty easy. The checks could go out shortly right after that, and you'll have the $14 stimulus check. The $3,600 for children would be on the books for children less than 5. The $3,000 for children less than 17 would be on the books. The $1,500 of hazard pay on the books. The EI deal grants, the $5,000, the money for rent, utilities, food, all that would become law. That's not what Wall Street's concerned about right now. They're concerned about the next stimulus package, the fourth stimulus package, which earlier this week you had incredible great news about that as well. Bernie Sanders and 11 other Democrats said, when you present us that bill, you better have reoccurring stimulus checks. Yeah, you heard that great news as well. Reoccurring stimulus checks. Also really good news. And then we had the standalone bill from Elizabeth Warren introduced on Monday. That would fund SSI and SSDI, $200 a month for $2,400. She would fund it with a wealth tax, taxing people who make families or individuals who have net worth over $50 million. All great news. I mean, this is huge great news. That great news is unchanged. So what's going on that impacts stimulus? It's Wall Street and fourth stimulus, not third stimulus. Wall Street is just not happy campers with this person's comments minutes ago. Jerome Powell has been supporting this economy with stimulus, and the Treasury yields have been sort of his antagonistic. His protagonist. It's sort of like Nene and Sheree. This is the Sheree, Jerome Powell, and the Treasury yields is the Nene. And the Nene wants to go bigger and bolder. She wants to be Hollywood. And Jerome Powell, the Sheree, is like, keep it calm. Keep it calm. There's Lisa with a super chat. Well, today he said, I'm not going to do much about it just yet, and we may have some inflation. Basically saying, let Nene act how she wants to act. Wall Street in America was not a happy camper with his comments. If you saw me live at 9 o'clock, we're now 11 o'clock on the West Coast. You saw that the Dow was up, NASDAQ was up slightly. It's literally caverned. A crater occurred out of nowhere. Jerome Powell, we expect that as the economy reopens and hopefully picks up, we'll see inflation move towards base events. That could create some upward pressure on prices. What prices? Your prices. Your prices. Milk, eggs, food. This is what Elizabeth Warren talks about. This is what you and I talk about. More money for eggs, more money for food. Not bad news now. It's in the future. It's not happening more than it's happening now. And what Jerome Powell said is that there is reason to believe that the outlook is looking more positive at the margins. There's a lot of ground to cover before we get to it, but we do see increased inflation, and I expect that we will be patient. Powell said he's very mindful of the lessons of runaway inflation from the 1960s and 1970s, but he says this is not that situation. We're very mindful that it's a constructive thing that for people to be on the potential risk. I always want to hear that, but I do want to think that it's less likely that what happens in the next year or so is going to be out to prices moving up but not staying up. Let me say that again slower. Powell says, don't worry. when we're talking about stimulus. Prices will go up, but they're not going to stay up. That's what his comments were minutes ago. But certainly there would be more inflation expectations materially above 2%. Remember, 2% is his benchmark for where inflation should be. He says, I want to keep it under 2%. Today, he says it may go over 2%, meaning we could be growing faster than we thought. This is huge news, and I know it's a little bit confusing, but I'm trying to make it clear for you. There's a several series of forces at issue. Unemployment numbers, prices to buy things, stimulus, and also future stimulus. Your $1,400 third stimulus check bill is getting passed. That's the update. Started at the top of this recording with that. That's unchanged. Your $1,400 third stimulus check bill is getting passed. The vote is in the Senate today. It's also in the Senate tomorrow. Done. Smile. We're good with that. We are fine with that. You're getting a $1,400 stimulus check. That bill will become law as early as tomorrow, and then the checks go out right after that. Great news. Now, this is not a channel in vacuum. We don't just talk about one thing and not talk about the next thing. The next thing, the fourth stimulus package. The package right after this one, which does exist. The president's working on it. And that's called the reopening package or the recovery package. How soon? It was originally supposed to be July. Now it's supposed to be May. And what's going to happen in it? That's also great news. Bernie Sanders and 11 Democrats. Thank you, Harry, for becoming a Purple Power member. Everyone welcome Harry to the family. Multiple stimulus checks are being demanded in the fourth stimulus package. But now, the timing of the fourth stimulus package is really an issue. What's my opinion of it? I don't have one just yet because Jerome Powell's comments, head of the Federal Reserve, were so confusing minutes ago that Wall Street took a tumble. And Wall Street means everything about you and your stimulus. Because if they see too much growth, it's one thing. If they see too much inflation, it's another thing. If they see too much price escalation, it's another thing. At the moment, they're seeing all three things. The head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, said that he believes that prices may go up. He thinks that inflation may kick in, but he thinks it's not going to be long term. Wall Street says that's a little too vague for them. They say, give me a little bit more information what you're saying there. But it was so vague for them that the stock market crashed minutes ago. 700 points. This is not 100 points. This is 700 points. And if you've been with me all morning long, you heard that the markets were relatively stable. Wow. Who's in the room? Let's see who's there. Let's look over. There's Sharon. Do we have the new unemployment claims for date? We do. Yeah, let me go over them. I delivered them early this morning. There's Danielle. There's R.S. Finley. And there's Tina. And there's Sherry. And there's welcome Harry to the family. Yes, there's Bruce and Abby and Gail and Gina and Crystal and Helen. Welcome Harry sides to the family. And there's Joshua, Roberta, Roy Rogers, Sherilyn, Janice. You won all the money and more. You deserve all the money and more. You don't just deserve a $1,400 third stimulus check. You deserve that fourth stimulus package as well. So what's going on? The day started with the unemployment numbers. I delivered those on mornings Lalate, and the unemployment numbers showed basically the same thing still. Nothing was really improving as much as we would like to see it improve. Okay, then that would mean we get more fourth stimulus. That would mean we just get more fourth stimulus. The day started with economic numbers across the board, and those were the new jobless claim numbers. Wall Street looked and saw, hey, Cindy Wolf, thank you for becoming a Purple Hawk member. Everyone welcome Cindy to the family. The day started with the jobless numbers. It came in it came in higher. Last week was 736,000. It went up. It didn't go up a lot. It was still lower than the 750 that Dow was estimated. So it's okay. It's still there. It's not a great number. It's not a bad number. Continuing claims improved a little bit, not a lot, 100,000, down 100,000 to 4.3. And long-term unemployment stayed at about 18 million. So what does that mean? It means exactly what Jerome Powell's always said to us, which is if there's long-term unemployment, we're going to continue to have stimulus. Janet Yellen, head of the Treasury. If there's still long-term unemployment, we're going to still have stimulus. We need lots of stimulus. Until we see long-term unemployment improve, we're going to have more stimulus. Very simple message. If people are unemployed, we need more stimulus. Pretty basic, not difficult to understand that one. If people are vaccinated, great. But if they don't have a job, they need stimulus. They need fourth stimulus. But when? And do they have a job or do they not have a job? The numbers of growth across this country has been a confusing mix for days. And the growth confusion stems from the bond market that's not particularly looking at everyone across the board. Let me cut back and explain that even clearer. You and I know that fourth stimulus is impacted by how many people are unemployed. Pretty straightforward. Bond market doesn't get that. Bond market looks at the guy building the condo building down the street and all this other stuff. They don't look at all this broad economic recovery. They look at sporadic things. Bond market goes up, stock market goes down. Federal Reserve chair says inflation may be coming. Bond market goes higher, stock market goes worse. And suddenly, confusion. The question is, what is the monetary policy when people are unemployed? More stimulus. Is that still the policy? President has not changed his policy. President has not changed his policy. But if that is still his policy, then we're good. So how does this unfold? I have more for you coming up shortly as the noontime hour continues. But first, here's a commercial break to tell you a little bit about the volunteers. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. So many details across the board. Thank you for joining me as we continue noontime here on Lalate. If you did not see how the day started, then now you see how the day is ending. Well, the day started with relative calm. $14 third stimulus check is being called for a vote in the Senate today, later today. It's being held up for a few hours, not a few days, a few hours, by Ron Johnson, Republican, who wants the entire bill read into the record. I kid you not. He wants a 500-page bill read into the record just for the purpose of delay. There's no other purpose. He already knows what it says. He wants to delay a couple hours. That delay will be a couple hours. So the vote will start later this afternoon, will continue tomorrow, and be done tomorrow. The bill will pass the Senate. It is now confirmed that there's enough Senate Democrats all 50 of them in favor of the bill. We also may pick up some Republicans. Lisa Murkowski has not decided whether she'll support the bill. Some insiders say she will. It'll then go back to the House as early as later tomorrow for approval, and then to the president's table. It could become a law later tomorrow. Done. $14 third stimulus check done as early as the end of tomorrow. Becoming law, congratulations. Now, you and I know that we don't just sort of sit in a vacuum and look at one thing. Yeah, you're getting $14. Congratulations. How about those multiple stimulus checks on the fourth stimulus package? Oh, wow. Tell me more. Yes. So that's another item that's happening. The Democrats that are providing allegiance for the vote today and tomorrow have said, good, but when you come back to us for the next one, because there is another bill, we're going to demand reoccurring stimulus checks. There's Barbara with the super chat. Thank you, Barbara, with the super chat. We're going to demand reoccurring stimulus checks. That's the fourth stimulus package. Then we have a standalone bill from Elizabeth Warren. A standalone bill I'll detail at the top of the hour as LA continues. That standalone bill will pay for that SSI and SSDI. That's exciting news as well. But the day got very, very, very confusing as Jerome Powell, who I had told you on Mornings LA had a conference today to speak at. No one thought much of expecting going into this conference until Powell spoke. And basically, his choice of words left viewers confused. This was a minor negative, as he failed to provide reassuring comments, says Annie Grisofelli, founder of Vital Knowledge. Basically, Powell wasn't clear enough, and by not being clear enough, Wall Street was confused. And with that came the tumbles. Dow is down 700 points. It was up for the first few hours it was up for all of Mornings LA. For 2 hours of show, the Dow was relatively calm or up. The NASDAQ was up or calm. And suddenly, bam, down 700 points in just a heartbeat. NASDAQ down 300 points. Stocks that were up are now plummeting. Tech stocks are down about 2%. Walmart's down $1, Microsoft down $2. Tesla, God bless you if you own Tesla stock and bought it in January, because now you've lost your shirt. It is down now 200 points since January 1st, Tesla stock. It has lost 200 points. It is having a totally negative year of down $200. It's down $45 just today in the last few minutes. Next up would be $400 a share for that stock, which would be its November levels. This is why you stay with me, not elsewhere. I would have never, ever told you anything like what other places on YouTube have been touting the beautifulness of this stuff. Not so beautiful, too volatile, stay away. Ron Wyden said he'll push for FPUC retro, but not enough votes, says Danielle Davis. Yes, the push of this channel is underway. Thank you, Danielle, for that great comment. The push for FPUC, SS200, and MSC is heating up. First, Elizabeth Warren has that standalone bill that would pay for your SS200. Then we have the push for the fourth stimulus of multiple stimulus checks, and it's even better than the word multiple. It's reoccurring stimulus checks. Then we have the question about FPUC retro, which is Ron Wyden. Who's this individual right here. He says he wants input, and Danielle Davis said that Ron Wyden says he would love FPUC retro but can't get votes. What I've been detailing on this channel today is why things have changed so dramatically in our benefit. How? There are 50 Democrat votes, and the president's now realizing that he can't get anything done unless he gets all 50 Democrat votes, not just for today's bill. It's going to pass today's bill, the next bills. And if he doesn't get that allegiance, people are going to start saying, that's what started with Bernie Sanders and that letter from 11 Democrats. The next bill, we want recurring stimulus checks. Or don't ask for us for votes. Elizabeth Warren should use that sort of language for the SS200. Don't ask for our votes in New England because we won't give it to you unless you give us the SS200. And Ron Wyden, he should play a little bit more dirty. He should say, you know what? Start giving us FPUC retro in the fourth stimulus package. There's unpaid claims of FPUC from July of last year to December last year. Don't come to us with a forced stimulus package and ask for it unless you do that. Remember, the forced stimulus package will have to do reconciliation again. They can't do it by a normal bill. They don't have the Republican support. They got to do it for reconciliation again, and they have to get all 50 Democratic votes. It only takes one person who's very tough to say, no, I'm holding out. Lisa Murkowski is a swing vote. She is a Republican. She can always pick up a swing vote, but they can't rely upon her because she's not always manifesting where she is. VP Harris is the tiebreaker vote, the 51. It's like this, where I'm literally live with you with What the Chuck. I go off camera, I come back on live, and I'm like, oh, stock market crashed 700 points because Jerome Powell's talking about your forced stimulus play. And literally, I mean, there wasn't the news is delivered to you within a minute of it happening. It's that quick. You want to hit the subscribe button because you don't want to be watching just, let's say, Mornings Lalate. On Mornings Lalate, I told you the Dow was, what was it? I think it was up 100 points and NASDAQ was up 50. You don't want to watch just one show from 4 hours ago. The news cycle is too fastly changing in this country. So you want to hit that subscribe button because you want to watch news live when it happens. Thank you, Pasty. Thank you, Pasty, for the super chat. We're 6 hours of live programming. This is Noontime Lalate with 2 hours of shows, and then there's 2 hours with Afternoons Lalate. Next, like this video. It helps in the algorithm's ranking. Bradford, thank you for becoming a Purple Hawk member. If you're a member, you're going to get a copy of 2 new PDFs. One, the new one was from Elizabeth Warren's bill. And then there's Cheryl, who just gave a beautiful dancing pair. And then the new bill you're going to see is not a bill, but a policy announcement from SBA about PPP for single individuals. It's important. It's in the video before this. But boy, now that you're up to date about the $14 stimulus check bill, which will be called for a vote today, tomorrow, and will be signed by the president as early as tomorrow, you're up to date on that. But your forced stimulus play is literally going left and right. It's not disappearing. Just the push to get it out faster is heating up as the Treasury yields soared to a 1.6% yield today. I can't even believe that. Treasury yields last week had gone to 1.54. And today they have just been popping because of these comments by Jerome Powell. These comments that perhaps we will have short-term inflation, perhaps we will have price escalation, but then it will retract, that it won't stay long-term. What does this mean for you? It means you got to get that stimulus as fast as you can get it. I'm next back with you with a short recording on business lunch that shows you the money that's available for you right now, before even the third stimulus becomes law. Money available right now for business grants, and then money for business grants under the third stimulus package when it becomes law later this week. Then at the top of the hour, we are back with big developments about the stimulus and that SSI changes. So much happening. Thank you for joining me. There is a lot more happening on this channel. Stay with me for the next show coming up in just 3 minutes as the excitement unfolds here on Lalate.